Teachers. My name is Tim Meegan, M-E-E-G-A-N. Up next, Jesse Sharkey, Vice President of Chicago Teachers Union.
I'll be brief. Today, teachers picket in front of 550 public schools all across the city with a simple message. We must have revenue to fund our schools. In a broken state budget that shuts off vital social services to the people of Chicago is unacceptable. We're going to join together with low-wage workers at McDonald's in the fight for 15. We're going to join with university professors. We're going to join with trade unionists from all across the state. There's South Asian, there's South Korean trade unionists. There's people from New York and LA. There's people from Connecticut. There's people from all across the country here. Join to say, fix the budget crisis, fund our schools, fund our vital social services. We are united. We're not taking no for an answer. We're going to fight to win the schools that our children deserve. That's what this is about today. One last point. It has been far too invisible for too long that the people who depend on our public schools and depend on our social services are the most vulnerable among our society. They're Black and Latino, low-income people of this city who have not had their voices heard. It is a shame that in order to make our voices heard, we've had to close every school in the city. It is a shame to make our voices heard that we've had to go on strike. And yet, if that's what we have to do, that is what we will do. Frankly, what's happening in the public system right now that Bruce Rauner is doing amounts to nothing more than racist neglect. We are going to take a stand about it. We're not taking no for an answer. We're going to win funding for our schools, and we're going to fight until we get it.
Are you ready to shut down Chicago today? All right. I just want to thank all of you for coming out this morning. This is a huge show of our solidarity and our strength as a community. We're here to demand revenue.
That's right.
And right now we have politicians that are hell-bent on destroying public education. And that's not right. Public education is the foundation of this country. Everything that you see, when you walk down in the Loop and you see the skyscrapers and you see all the money, don't ever forget that the foundation of all that was built up in the Loop is the teachers that taught those people. All right? So, my name is Tim Meegan. I'm a delegate at Roosevelt High School. And last year I ran unsuccessful campaign for alderman as an independent candidate. And we stood on three things: a $15 minimum wage and more affordable housing, all right? Fully funded public schools, and no more privatization of the city's assets like the charter schools and parking meters. And we were also trying to make a point about independent politics, because I know, I'm not naive, I know that there's a clear difference between Democrats and Republicans, but when it comes to schools in particular and privatization and keeping wages low and keeping people struggling, keeping people working long hours for low pay, the Republicans and the neoliberal Democrats are one and the same. And people, they feel it. They know it. Otherwise, Bernie Sanders would not have such an amazing campaign and be so competitive. So, one of the things that we wanted to prove is that, we believe that we need a working class party, a third party that really represents labor in this country. The Democrats aren't doing it for us anymore. We got two parties that represent the 1%. But look at the sea of people out here. Don't ever forget our own power, right? We are the ones that pay taxes. We are the workers. We demand that our tax dollars are spent on basic services that we depend on. The government has a responsibility to release our money and to make sure it's spent wisely.
Funding! Fight for 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 funding!
Our taught math for 15 years, but to help with the saving a job, I said I would switch to French, so now I teach French.
And you're a member of the union, what union?
The Teachers Union, Chicago Teachers Union, and I'm really glad to be out here. I'm glad we voted to do this because the schools are extremely underfunded, and where they're building fantastic parks and everything else in the other parts of the city, I think the problem is that an educated child does not turn a profit, and because it doesn't turn a profit, they're not going to spend any money on it, you know. And
So you think it's a business thing? They want to make more profits? They
well,
want to make profits off of public education?
well, you know, it's business/political, because if the politicians can't, you know, bring in the money, then they can't, you know. So they can't bring in money with educated children. The problem is, after 50 years of bad funding for education, all of these kids have grown up now, and they're all voting for people who don't know what they're talking about, because they don't know what they're talking about, because they have not had a good education. And it's almost as if the future of this, of uneducated children, is an uneducated population, which is more likely to subjugate and believe anything they hear.
What do you think of Mayor Emanuel?
Oh, he is. I never even understood why Obama chose him as his chief of staff. I met him once, and he was definitely a bully just in the 20 seconds that I spoke with him. I didn't even speak with him. He put his hand out in front of me and said, "I'm not working now." I just turned to him to be a polite, "Oh, wow," he was my congressman at that time. He wouldn't even, he put a hand in my face, honestly.
And charter schools and privatization? What do you think about that?
It's the wrong move, you know. And here's the thing: they keep saying good schools, bad schools. We're not talking about buildings.
Same governor and the same banks and corporations that do not pay their fair share are holding all of us hostage. People have asked me, what do Chicago teachers have to do with us? They have everything to do with us. Our crisis is one crisis. Our struggle for funding and economic and racial justice are inextricably bound. Many of the graduates from Roosevelt High School are attending Chicago State and Northeastern Illinois University. And just as nurses and social workers provide a backbone to the education in public schools, our staff is essential to recruiting, enrolling, providing guidance and financial aid, and helping to graduate thousands of the students we serve. Facing the imposition of furloughs because of funds running out, our staff and faculty are being told that we have to bear the burden of an economic crisis that we did not create.
That's right.
Our students will pay the ultimate price if education is compromised. The funding crisis should not be solved on our backs or our students. Rauner's attacks on all of us, and I mean all of us, is unconscionable. It is a shame of our nation. That is why we are here today, united in this fight to fund our futures. We say to the teachers at Roosevelt High School and across this city, your fight is our fight.
I hadn't recycled recently, therefore I was able to take my pick of
Take your pick.
the usual suspects.
Fund our schools, suffer no fools.
Yeah.
Now what's your name?
I'm Cindy Zucker. I'm a member of the UPI, the University Professors at Northeastern, and our members have had to take a one-day furlough each week from now until we get a budget. And, you know, Governor Rauner is the one who we are basically focusing on here in terms of, you know.
Is he a war against public workers, against teachers?
Yeah, I mean, public schools, yeah, public institutions, social services, state universities, yeah, are the ones taking the hit, and those are the ones that employ and serve working people. And so we're the ones, that are suffering because of this impasse and because of this intransigence on the part of the governor.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one of the richest states, and yet it has one of the largest gaps of inequality in terms of educational funding, which has persisted for a very long time. Chicago Public Schools are certainly taking, a huge hit at this point in terms of cutbacks that have been going on for a number of years.
Now, this unification of the different struggles,
Yes.
Fight for 15,
Yes.
CTU, I mean, all these, do you think this is a harbinger of what's coming among all working people?
I think there's no other way to stop this onslaught against the unions and against people coming together and standing up for their rights. And this is the only way that we're going to have any effective methods of dealing with the situation. Without this, they can take on one union at a time, they can close one social service agency at a time and make all those cutbacks, and those are the people who can't necessarily stand up for themselves, the people who are getting those social services. So we're the ones that have got to do it. But yeah, this is unprecedented. I was a teacher in the Chicago Public Schools and a union member for over 20 years, and I went through numerous strikes, but I've never seen one like this. So this is groundbreaking.
Fight for 15, fight for 15, fight for 15, fight for 15, fight for 15.
All right. Finally, we are also joined by Ho Jun Song, who's a former railway worker from South Korea and is now the General Secretary of the Seoul Confederation of Trade Unions, and Herbert Claros da Silva, Vice President of the Metal Workers Union in San Jose, Brazil.
I am from Korea. I am a worker. I am a railroad worker. I am here for solidarity. We are fighting against the company. We are fighting against the Korean government. I think you are right. I think your demand is right. Your struggle is justice. Our Korean workers stand in solidarity to the end. I demand the U.S. government stop the repression, respect the union right. Brothers and sisters, don't give up to fight against them. Keep going, struggle to the victory. United workers, solidarity, international working class. Thank you.
Good morning, friends, brothers and sisters. My name is Herbert. I'm a worker of Brazil, a member of SSP com Lutas, is a national federation in Brazil. Eliana is a teacher of São Paulo State from Brazil. We would like talk about, I don't speak English very well, but I try to speak to you. In Brazil, the teachers is important workers in this struggle at the moment. In last years, the teachers of São Paulo state went on the strike during the 3 months against the cuts of the foundation of education in São Paulo. In the final of the last years, during 2 months, students, teachers, and the people on the schools occupy the schools against the São Paulo government try close the schools. 100 schools the government tried closed, but the union, students, teachers, and the people occupy the schools and victor this. Occupy the schools in São Paulo. Victor. Now, in this moment, the teachers of Rio de Janeiro state only strike 3 months ago. 3 months on strike in Rio de Janeiro state. We express, in name of SESP com Lutas, we want to express our support to the Chicago teachers strike in our struggle. And thank you for your attention. Long life for international solidarity. Our struggle, our struggle.
All right, I'd also like to thank Alderman Mal and State Rep Will Guzzardi for being here. And Rob Marwick, too. Thank you.
What about Eric Slater? Having him speak. Fire driver. He should be speaking.
Yeah, Eric, you want to say one word before we move? Real quick. All right. Eric Slater, Amalgamated Transit.
I'm Eric Slater. I'm the executive board member of the Amalgamated Transit Union. There's a bus garage. About 600 of my coworkers work a few blocks from here. We're going to march over there along with some McDonald's workers who are on strike. As part of this regional day of action, the Chicago teachers have led us, and they're going to continue to lead us. I want to give the support to Roosevelt High School here that did this, and all the international unionists that came from all over the world, from Brazil, from South Korea, from France, that have come to support this. This is an internationally important event that we're participating. May there be many, many more.
All right. You want to talk about where you're here today? What's your name?
Sure. My name is Sola Littlejohn. I'm a fast food worker, and I'm with Fight for 15. And I'm here today on strike to put it in simple terms. We teachers and fast food workers are going to show today that we may not run America, but we make America run.
Okay, thank you.
I work in McDonald's. Solidarity teacher today. Power. Union. United in the pain. Everybody, people working. The teacher working the fast food. Everybody. The guy is the power. So that.
Okay, gracias.
Yes, thank you.
Hablo español. María Elena García, trabajo en McDonald's de la Cicero y Madison por 16 años.
Okay, gracias. So you're a student?
Yes, sir.
So why don't you introduce yourself while you're here today?
My name is Nicole Grigalunas. I'm a senior at Northeastern Illinois University, and I'm here in solidarity with the CTU and Chicago Public School students. This budget impasse is negatively affecting everyone in the state, and unfortunately, even our students, our smallest students, and we've got to stop. I think that it is a state leadership issue. My issue with the governor is holding the state hostage for right to work state is not in the best interest for Illinois citizens, and holding the budget hostage for this issue leaves the state's most vulnerable citizens in a bad spot, and we need a budget. We need a fair budget now.
Do you think he wants to bust the unions?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And for what purpose?
I think if you look all across the Midwest, we see austerity measures and right-to-work movements going on. And we go look up in Wisconsin and we see what Scott Walker did. I think that this is the same agenda, but it's on steroids, and it's got to be stopped. I hopefully it gets some attention. Northeastern students have gone down to Springfield. We've written letters. We've made calls, and we're not getting attention. So now students are in the street.
Okay, I mean, if he shuts down all the schools...
And it's not good for the state economy. An educated public is great for the private sector. This is where we get trained workers. This is where the nation gets its best. Closing down schools, closing down public schools is not the way to do this. This leaves students in a bad spot of having to traverse across the city, or university students having to choose a more expensive private university. We can't have that.
Racism. There's no racism in America.
Oh no, of course there is. I work at Northeastern Illinois University, and I'm an advisor, and I'm also a proud member of UPI 4100. And I really believe that he's targeting students of color. Elizabeth Villarreal. He's targeting students of color all over, and really attacking the working class and the middle class. And it has to end.
And what does racism have to do with what's going on today?
Well, if you look at all the schools that have been closed also in CPS, and the schools that are targeted right now, the public state universities, it's in areas where it's serving the minority students and poor class. So it has everything to do. No, they're not. Yeah. There's the places where there's less resources, it's where they're really affecting and impacting. Right? So if you are in a neighborhood that doesn't have the resources, then how can you actually compete with everyone else?
And what do you think about Rahm Emanuel? What's happening? Do you think he should be prosecuted or resign? He covered up that murder?
I think there's a lot of things that are happening, and the community and the nation as a collective is coming together and saying no more. The things need to change, and we need to really be involved in our governance as well. We have to hold accountable elected officials as well.
And Illinois, they have billionaires here, a lot of money. They don't want to go after the billionaires.
It seems like, they're paying more than what I have to pay, and it's not fair. I don't make nowhere near. I make less than what my student loans are worth.
How much are your student loans?
My student loans are $80,000. So I'm still trying to pay that back while working for a public state university.
What do you think of a country where, like I've talked to students here, they're in debt, 19-year-old students with $20,000 in debt. I mean, what kind of future are young people having in this country? When they're in debt, when they get out of their paupers or poor?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation because, education is the way out, but then you have to look at how much debt you have. When will you finally pay that off, and will you get out of debt? It's very difficult. Do you eat or do you pay your student loans? Right?
Trapped in poverty?
Yes. It's a never-ending vicious cycle.
So what do you think is going to happen today at the state universities?
Oh, we're already out. I work at a public state university, and we're in solidarity with our brothers and sisters from Chicago State, UIC, Western Illinois, Eastern Illinois. We all have to come together because public education was founded to create access. But right now, without a budget, our students are not going to have that access because they won't be able to pay their bills. And then our staff, too, we're sacrificing ourselves and taking furlough days so we can maintain the doors open. Because we understand how important education is, and it really should be for everyone with no debt, if possible.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if the United States can afford that. We got too many wars to fight.
Well, there's money for war. There's always money for war.
What's NYSCT?
New York State United Teachers.
And what's going on there? We're out here today.
We're out here in support of the CTU, of the Chicago Teachers Union.
What's going on in New York? Same thing?
Going on across the entire country.
What's your name?
My name is Ray Hodges.
And where do you teach?
I teach high school math.
And where?
Monroe Woodbury High School, which is in the lower Hudson Valley.
So what's happening with education in New York? I mean,
it's the same everywhere across the country. It's underfunded. They're just not funding, and it's very, very difficult. And as the funding gets cut, programs get cut, and in the end, the students suffer.
My name's Antonio White. Yes, I'm with AFT 1974, local union, United Teachers of Dade of Miami, Florida.
And so you're here today to support the...
I'm here today to stand in solidarity with Chicago's Teachers Union. I'm currently the new Vice President-elect of United Teachers of Dade in Miami, which is the fourth largest school district in the country, and we're facing some of the same issues.
And what's going on there? As far as the attack on teachers, are there charters going on?
Well, the attack on teachers is multifaceted. The charter movement is the biggest threat to public education right now because we have legislators that all have interest in the charter market. And they're financial conflicts of interest, but yet they're still creating laws and doing things that's promoting the things that make them money. Give you a perfect example, when you look at what we call PICO funds in Florida, which are construction funds, they just awarded $75 million to charter schools. There's only about 600 of them in the state. And they awarded the same $75 million to public schools, and there's 4,200 in the state. So do the math. It doesn't add up. It's the biggest threat we face today outside of our funding structure as well. One of the big problems here. We're funded mainly by property taxes. We're in Miami, one of 67 counties that has a 2-year backlog on collection of property taxes, meaning our public schools are not receiving the funding in a timely manner to put it in the budget to make things work for the kids. We've lost pretty much all of our elective programs, art, music, things of that nature. We've lost the majority of our vocational programs, and which is, I mean, really detrimental these days because we know that all kids aren't going to college. We still have to provide avenues for them to earn a living coming out of high school and moving forward. And we're facing the same problems all across the country. That's the reason I'm here today.
And you think the fact that a lot of these shutdowns and attacks are in black districts or Latino districts, do you think racism has anything to do with what's going on in the
Well, the truth of the matter is black and brown situations have a lot to do with them, but you know, you can't just harp on that. It's even a little larger than that. It's almost like we're going back to the haves and have-nots. We're eliminating the middle class. We can't really expect children to prosper and grow if their family's not prospering and growing. So you know, you got a perfect storm here. You know, you got people still trying to get the minimum wage increase. You know, education starts early. And if you don't catch it there, if you don't educate the parents, then you're basically spinning wheels. You know, we spend 7-8 hours a day with children, but they have to go back to the environments in which they live. The testing debacle is another story in itself. Testing that's almost like the privatization of prisons. Testing creates the privatization of education because we don't fund schools to learn, we fund testing programs and testing cycles. For example, in Miami, Florida, testing now consumes 1 full quarter out of a 4-quarter year. Test prep consumes about another quarter. So really we're only doing 2 semesters of actual teaching and learning, 1 semester of test prep and 1 semester of testing. You tell me how that's going to lift us to compete globally.
It's good for the testing companies.
Well, not good for us though.
What's happening today?
Right, smile.
What's happening?
Oh man, you got that?
Sure, my name's Tim Megan. I'm a delegate here at Roosevelt High School, and this is a 1-day strike for revenue. Governor Rauner hasn't released a budget in 10 months. Rahm Emanuel and Forrest Claypool are hell-bent on destroying public education and privatizing our schools, and we're here to say that we need revenue today. It's absolutely outrageous that we pay our taxes, and we can't escape that, but the state can withhold our tax dollars, hold our tax dollars hostage in exchange for anti-worker labor reforms. We're not about that. So we want to just emphasize that this is our city, these are our schools, these are our communities. We will fight for them, and we deserve basic government services.
And the city has said, the school board said it's illegal. They tried to prevent you from that. What's that all about?
Well, they said that under SB 7, this strike is illegal because the fact-finding process hasn't wound its way out. But this isn't about our contract. This is an unfair labor practice strike because they withheld our steps and lanes and put us on 3 furlough days. So if they're going to take away our ability to educate kids, then we're going to take a strike day to make them pay for our schools.
Now the CTA is without a contract. The state universities may shut down.
Right.
Do you think there should be a movement towards a general strike?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I mean, if our politicians are going to serve the 1% instead of serving the majority of us, then there should be a general strike. We haven't seen something like that in 100 years in this country, and I think it's time to remind everybody who's really in charge in the United States of America. It's the workers.
And they're kind of got a confrontational thing, Rauner laying down the gauntlet, and basically they're pushing the unions.
Absolutely. I mean, Bruce Rauner is not a politician. This guy is a rich man who spent his own money to buy the governor's mansion with one goal in mind. In 2012, after the strike, he said he wanted to blow up CPS and on Chicago Tonight, and create several networks of small charter schools that would compete Hunger Games style for the resources that are available. But public educators know that competition does not work in education. It's a collaborative effort. It's like raising children in a family. If you have a mother and father competing with each other to be the best parent, then the child loses, right? But it's the same thing with teachers. If we're competing with each other, then we're never going to provide the best services possible to our students.
The Obama administration, Hillary Clinton, have supported charter schools. They get money from these billionaires in Los Angeles, the Foundation. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, neoliberal Democrats are as much of an enemy to us and the working class as the Republicans are. You know, of course there are differences between Democrats and Republicans, but the neoliberals kind of put lipstick on a pig, basically, to borrow something from Sarah Palin, right? So, and we recognize that, and we also recognize the need for a third party, a workers' party in this country, because the Democrats and the Republicans both represent the 1%. Who looks out for us?
And the support for Sanders, a lot of people are surprised that the socialists, because of the Democratic socialists, would get support. What do you think about the Sanders?
Well, I'm not surprised. I ran for city council as an independent candidate here last year and missed the runoff by 17 votes. And so people are hungry for an alternative to the Democrats and the Republicans. I know that Sanders is running under the mantle of a Democrat, but he's been saying the things that we've all been thinking for years, and it's time for real change. So I'm not surprised by his popularity.
AFT, was there a democratic process to decide to support Hillary Clinton?
No?
Why not?
That's a question for Randy Weingarten.
You think there should have been a democratic process?
Absolutely. I mean, the Chicago Teachers Union is a democratic union, and we're the preeminent labor union in the United States of America for a reason, because we listen to our members, and the things we do come from the bottom up, not from the top down.
Supporting the teacher, we all need a fair contract.
And you're without a contract too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm out here, because we need a contract too.
How long have you been out without a contract?
Since December, the end of December.
What's going on with the CTA?
Well, I can't tell you. I don't know about that. I want to know that myself.
And you're supporting Eric? What happened with Eric? What happened with him?
Well, I don't know all his detail, but I'm supporting Eric. He's a union member, and I'm supporting.
With all of this, and it's enough for you gotta be strong. You got to stay strong, because you got family. You have family members to take care of, and you don't want to die. You want to live. You want to live a life.
You know what? Even though we work hard and we say we're supposed to get a nice pension, but seem like they mismanaging the money. So now we have to suffer. So we have to pay more into the pension. We seem like we get a lot of money, but when they get through taking everything out, we're not getting very much. So how is we able to feed our family? Because they constant. And then when they want to go up on somebody, they always say, we take a cut. It's just like with the buses. They'll leave the fare one price for one person, but then the driver have to one sacrifice. Yep. We are tired of sacrificing. We out here dealing with these people. We don't have that much protection on the bus. For simple fact, these people come on there, they might have guns and stuff. But who protecting us? We got that shield on there, they can go around there and hit us.
Nothing.
So we don't have no type of protection. That little protection is some, but it's not that much. These people right here, we're not no police. We have to do everything. We're a counselor, everything. So,
and we're the people. And we have families, each of us, right? It's not just us that we're supporting. It's our families, our parents, our children. And then we got the people on the bus. right? We have to deal with all this stuff and to make sure that the people on the bus are safe. Everyone around the bus is safe.
Right.
That's one of your biggest priorities, is safety.
Right. Safety is the most important thing, not just for the public, but for the workers too. If your worker is been attacked, how can that worker take care of the people that's on the bus? You know, and I love people. I'm a people person. I'm a type of person who like people. I've been dealing with people all of my life. And the thing is, my job is special to me because I carry the people. I carry million people, not just the people that get on the bus, the people, my pedestrians that's walking out here, the other vehicles, the other buses and trucks. My mind got to stay on point, sharp at all times. And my job and my safety is important to me just as well as the public safety. It's important to them and it's important to me as well.
Schools not prisons! Schools not prisons! Schools not prisons! Schools not prisons!
Did you know at Roosevelt High School we have 2 full-time police officers and only 2 counselors left for 1,100 students? Next up, Danelli Quiros. She's president of the Student Advisory Council here at Roosevelt High School.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah! Good morning. My name is Danelli Quiros and I am a junior at Roosevelt High School. Thank you all for coming out here today in solidarity and in this very important issue. We are here united with teachers, united with students, and united with the communities all over Chicago. Together, we are here to fight the same issue that has been happening every year. I am here to speak out the injustice we have been facing. Right. Yes. CPS has reported that we are broke because of the mishandling of the state's spending and the rise of pension costs. Because of this, Chicago Public Schools has lost over $100 million. Programs are being cut. Class sizes are getting bigger. And we are losing our teachers. No! This is unacceptable. This cannot continue any longer. CPS, Rauner, Rahm, start listening to the people and start taking action. No more promises, no more talk. We need action. It is our job to hold our elected officials accountable. Rahm Emanuel has said, and I quote, "Our schools belong in school, our kids belong in school." Rahm, how good our teachers teach when they don't have the resources to educate us? Rahm, how good our teachers teach when CPS can't keep our schools open for 3 days? Our education is being robbed. CPS, Rahm, rather than destroying us, invest in us. Invest in the schools that are struggling to keep their doors open. Educators deserve to be respected. And our students deserve better. In my school has brilliant teachers and students, but every day I watch CPS rob us from our opportunity. In my school, I have been fortunate to be surrounded every day by activists, musicians, poets, athletes, dreamers, and high-achieving students. But because of the poor investments CPS and elected officials has made, our students are being stripped away from the opportunities and tools that we need to succeed. Enough is enough. It's time for CPS and elected officials to get school. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Won a city council seat in Seattle, Washington. Kasham Sawat.
Sisters and brothers, it's really, really wonderful to be here with you today. We flew in from Seattle yesterday, but it's absolutely the place to be this morning. I won an election as an open socialist in 2013 in Seattle. We campaigned for $15 an hour citywide to tax millionaires to fund basic services and for rent control. And everybody in the corporate media establishment thought this was not going to work. But we ran as an independent, we ran as an anti-corporate, pro-working class candidate. And we were able to win against a 16-year incumbent in a city that is controlled, just like Chicago, a city that is controlled by the Democratic Party establishment. And I really wanted to echo what Tim just said. It is critical that workers and the labor movement break from the Democratic Party in order to build our own independent forces. Look at the incredible, electrifying effect Bernie's message has had, a message for a political revolution against the billionaire class.
That's right.
I am also a rank and file member of the American Federation of Teachers. I'm a community college teacher in Seattle. And so I also bring you solidarity from your sisters and brothers in the AFT in Seattle. But you know what? It is high time that we as a labor movement built our own independent party for the 99%. And we ran our own candidates everywhere so that we can show workers we do not have to accept the right-wing message of the Republican Party and Donald Trump, but we also don't have to accept the corporate Wall Street agenda of Rahm Emanuel and Hillary Clinton. And let us join together in demanding that Mayor 1% Rahm Emanuel resign.
Body students! Body for schools!
Need to unite. We moved Chicago. We moved Chicago, the city of Chicago, and the suburban. The workers moving. Who do you see? You see bus driver. Who you see? Teachers. You see the CFD. You see CPD. We are the workers. So why not take care of the people who's working for the communities, who's working for the city, who's working for the state of Illinois, who's working for the United States of America? Why not take care of the people? You gotta have love for the people. Now, this is the thing. When you start loving money, then you begin into all the root and the evils of things. And then you become greedy, and then you become selfish, and then you become, it's all about me, myself, and I. But it's not about you, yourself, and I. It's about being a brother, sister, keeper. That's what it's about. I am my brother, sister, keeper. That's my duty. That's what I'm supposed to be about, my brother, my sister, keeper. That's who I am.
And you've been working without a contract since, why don't you talk about that? I mean, why can't you get a contract?
Well, right now, they're in negotiation. We have a contract, but the contract is over. It's up. So it's time for the new negotiate, new contract. So right now, I'm not in a position where that I can talk about it because I don't know a lot about only but with the stuff that I know about the contract. Right. So yeah, we just in negotiation about the contract.
You think we should join the teachers? They should be united action.
I think that we should join everybody that's for the working people. I think yes. If you harming the teacher, you harming the children. If you harming the children, you harming the parents. Everybody, the parents gotta go to work. They gotta put food on their table. They gotta send their children off to school. You harming everybody. It's all for the people. We got to start loving each other and working together with each other. Not the benefit for a selfish, greedy person that's sitting up at the top and looking down on us.
What do you think about the government?
I just think that these people that have money, they don't know about here unless you get down here and work. I'm just talking about working with each other. Then you will know what our struggles, what the effects that we go through every day. This is not an easy job, but we gird up and we keep on working and we keep on moving. Why? Because we got family. We got our loved ones. We got our seniors. It's so much. Everybody. And then you have a lot of people mental disturbed out here. The teachers, the doctors, everybody plays a part in taking care of being about your.
We are together to ask for our rights. We are not receiving the right funds. The schools we need material. We need funds for our schools. And Rahm Emanuel is not taking this seriously. We are together to fight for our rights today.
Giving you some of the money. Chicago's a rich city.
Yeah, but where the funds are, that's a good question. We need money for our funds for our schools.
I'm Jesse Sharkey, Jesse-Sharkey, and I'm the Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union. And today's a remarkable day. We've got people from all around the city, social service work, people who are working the social services, people who are part of the public university system, which is being threatened with shutdown, other public sector workers, people from around the country, united behind a message that we need funding for social services and we need funding for the schools. And if we don't have that, we're going to lose them as a critical institution.
So it seems like the mayor, Rahm Emanuel, the governor, kind of laid down the gauntlet. They want to take on the unions. I think that this is going to grow this responsible labor. I mean, it seems like a challenge. Whether unions are going to survive because shutting down the state university.
Right. Well, right. What they're doing is they're making a choice. They're saying we choose our wealthy friends and billionaire benefactors over the people who depend on public services, over public K-12 students, over the people who depend on things like homeless shelters and counseling programs for folks dealing with abuse. Those things are all being shut down. And so we're trying to say that if we unite, we can demand the change. We can bring a sense of urgency to that. We can wake people up, and we think we can win a fight for those services.
Are you going to call on other unions who don't have contracts, like the CTA, the ATU, to join you in their day of action around workers without contracts as a start?
I mean,
it seems like if you don't have a contract, why not unite together?
I mean, they've basically, they threatened us with saying this action's illegal. And what we said is, let a judge decide that. I don't see a black robe on the CEO of the schools. And so, the CTU has always really believed in trying to lead by example. And we worked very hard to bring a coalition of other unions together. We obviously hoped that we'd be joined by a bunch of other unions. People had, I think, to do what they could do. But if you're in a union and your leadership isn't doing anything, you need to look at your leadership and begin to ask the question, why not? Because right now, we have to have a vision of what we're fighting for. We have to have a vision of a society in which the wealthiest people pay their share, and the critical social services that our children deserve are provided. And if we're not fighting for that, we're making a mistake. And so that's what's necessary. We need to fight. We need to act together and increase the urgency.
Now, there are millions of public workers, AFT, MEA, AFSCME, SEIU. Why isn't there a national campaign against privatization, against charters, against union busting, politically, and privatization campaign by all these public workers?
Well, I mean, I think that we need to start, people need to start in their locals with the fights that are important to them, try to train activists, and then, we need to connect those fights together. But if we're waiting for someone else to do it who's not us, we're going to have a long way. People should, people want to ask the question, how do we get fighting unions? Start by fighting. Start by demanding things of your leadership. If they don't want to lead, then my advice for rank and file trade unionists would be to take the lead yourself.
Charters and privatization, how's that affected Chicago schools?
That's been devastating. I mean, 20 years ago we had 0 charter schools. Today we have 130. That's a big part of what's behind the school closings. It's one of the single fastest growing expense lines in the public schools. And so there's a political movement to privatize public education, and it's not so different from the move to privatize other public services.
So are you against?
I think we should have publicly funded public schools.
Controlled by the public.
Yeah, well, right, yeah, exactly. Like education, if you go all the way back to the 1840s, the idea would be universal, compulsory, and free. and I still think we should have a universal, compulsory, and free public education system.
And the charters, is there a growing problem of corruption, conflicts of interest with the charters? I mean, they're privately run.
Oh, I mean, in Illinois, they tend to all be politically connected, and so you've got a politically connected charter movement, and that's one of the ways that they've been able to grow. I think that, you've also seen an increase in corporatization of the charters. So it might have been that once charters could claim that that they were educational experiments designed to open up new ground educationally, and now I think what you see well-funded corporate chains, which are taking over the public schools.
And religious charters, the Bermuda charter in Chicago, what happened there? They tried to organize it.
Well, there was an attempt to organize concept charter schools, which is connected to the Gulen movement in Turkey, and they fired one of the lead organizers. She was 8 months pregnant. We won labor board charges against her, but we didn't win the charges until 3 years later. They used public dollars to fight every step of the way. And so it's still an unorganized charter school. So one more thing about the concept charter schools is that they then applied for 2 more charters to go from 1 to 3. The Board of Education denied their request. So they appealed to a state board, which had been appointed by Governor Rauner, who turned around and granted them charters that even the school district here, which is a very pro-charter district, didn't want to grant them. So anyway, this struggle continues.
My name is Pavel. I'm from Union Syndicale Solidaire in France.
What is going on?
Are we the only people?
And how is it related to what's happening here?
In France, there is, for several years now, austerity measures and cutbacks in education, post-reduction, and which lead to increase in class sizes and such.
Don't you have a socialist government?
Socialists, yes. And right now they are the government is implementing a law, work law that will modify the right of the workers and reduce them in numbers of hours, in salary and such. And yesterday there was a big demo all around the country, 1.2 million protesters in France.
You have more collective consciousness in France. Consciousness, the workers are more collective. You think it's going to happen here in the United States?
Maybe, I don't know. The situation are different. We have our weaknesses too, but I'm very impressed with what I saw this morning with the Chicago teachers reuniting with postal workers, nurses, fast food workers in solidarity in one day. I'm really impressed. I think it's rare in the United States, not a common thing.
Do you have general strikes in France?
For one day, yes, but we have difficulties to extend the struggles which we need to.
You think that there are going to be more strikes in France against austerity and against the attacks?
There is a movement now. We had strikes and rallies yesterday with lots of people, and new demos April 5th and April 9th and etc.
I'm from Brazil. I'm member of SEIU Lutas, a national trade union federation in Brazil, and member of the International Labor Solidarity Network. We organize the independent unions around the world against the capitalists, against the bureaucracy unions. We stand here in solidarity with the teachers, the strike in Chicago, and in solidarity with the workers of fast food, because not only in the United States, but in Brazil and around the world, the workers of fast food is a precarious situation bad salaries, bad wages, because it's a important struggle in the United States. This struggle here is good for example around the world. It's good for example for the fast food workers in Brazil, for unite the struggle around the world against the exploitation, against the capitalists. We stand in solidarity. Long life for the international struggle. McDonald's, you ready? Check it out. 51% of fast food workers rely on public assistance. That's including myself. If McDonald's paid $15 an hour, this is something we wouldn't have to rely on. A year alone, that's $368 million that taxpayers spend on public assistance. We are the taxpayers. Most of us also rely on public assistance. 70% of fast food workers are black and Latino. So, to kick those numbers, what we're asking for is for them to pay their fair share. Just last year alone, $200 billion was sent overseas through tax loopholes, so they did not pay their taxes. We pay our taxes. We are taxpayers in Illinois. And we pay for everything that we rely on. They pay nothing of their fair share. So today, we're here not only on strike for the teachers, not only on strike for fast food workers, but to demand funding and a fair share pay. Thank you very much.
Good day. I'm from Bermuda, from one of the largest trade unions in Bermuda, Bermuda Industrial Union. I'm here to support your cause. Because we believe, and we just finished a big strike, we call it a protest. We shut down Parliament for 4 days. And because we know that people united can never be defeated. United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Y'all hear me? You hear me in the back of the bus? Come on, guys. I'm a bus driver for the Chicago Transit Authority for 10 years. Right behind us, right over here, is the North Park CTA bus garage. Yeah. Right? 700 working families work there. It's one of the biggest public transit hubs in all of North America. Just this bus garage moves more people than almost every city in North America. That's the power we have here. Several other transit workers are here with me, bus operators from North Park, panting, right, supporting the fight for $15 an hour wage and a union, right? 90% of working people in the United States do not have a union, right? That's wrong. We should have the support and collective power of a union. I'm an executive board member for the Amalgamated Trans Union Local 241. We represent 10,000 working families in Chicago, the bus operators, the maintenance workers, the clerical workers, and we want to make it clear to you that we support your fight, right? You deserve, if you're working 40 hours a week, you should not be in poverty, right? If you're a working person, you should have the right to a union. At least $15 an hour more, a living wage. If you look out over there, you're going to see a bunch of buses, hundreds of CTA buses. You also see our cars. In the middle of the day, we're sleeping in our cars. For this reason, we're only given 8 hours to get from our run in the end of the day to go home and then come back to the garage to drive you and your families on the CTA buses. That's not right. It's not safe. So what do? We're here for 13 hours in the job, driving the bus safely. When we have an unpaid break, we sleep in our car. That's what's going on right there. There's people in their cars because they got no place else to go. And that's not safe for us. That's not safe for the riding public. We're driving in pain. They have repetitive stress injuries that we have repeatedly. And when we talk to the boss, you guys know this when you don't have a union, when you talk to the boss, they say, tough luck. They say, get another job. For us, they try to fire us. We don't have bathrooms, right, in our workplaces. Most of the CTA bus routes do not have bathrooms to go to. That's dangerous because you have to pee when you're driving the bus, right? When you're trying to go to the bus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is wrap it up and lead you guys to my bus garage. What we're going to do is march around this McDonald's, and then it's about 100 feet over to the North Park Garage. So. Bus barn or bus garage. Again, this by itself moves more people than almost every city in North America. We have 600 bus operators. I'm the union representative for over 600 families here. We also have about 100 clerical and maintenance workers here as well. Huge amount of work gets done here. We send our buses over eastbound. All the north side public transit occurs here. Part of the reason why we're here is obviously to support your fight for $15 an hour.
I'm Kathy Murray. I'm an organizer at CTU, and I also am the liaison to the retiree function group. And we have many retirees out here today. I would say a few hundred between here and CSU that I even know of. So our retired teachers are really supporting this picket, this strike day. Well, they're always concerned, retirees are always concerned about their pension benefits. So the fewer teachers, the fewer that are paying into the pot. So everything's at stake with this governor, with the state, with the pension reform that they want. Yeah. The public sector employees and our pensions are definitely at stake. Well, some charter schools, if they are a licensed teacher in Illinois, they pay into our CTPF if they're in Chicago, so they pay into our pension fund. If they are not a licensed teacher at a charter school, they do not pay into our pension fund.
Well, there's an array of issues, right, that are overlapping, right? So I teach at a university in Chicago on the northwest side where we were earlier today. And really it's about working people, right? But it's also about racism and how those things intersect in our lives, right? And our Governor Rauner and then our politicians, we've been without funding a state budget for 9 months now, right? And counting. And of course, the working people are really paying for this, right? And of course, that's racialized in significant ways. And so, as labor organizations and community organizations started organizing with each other, we thought it would be a good idea as our legislature comes back into session April 1st, right? Come back in at the beginning of April. If we would come out and organize collectively and coherently and form a coalition, not just one issue movement, but an array of issues. So issues of policing inequalities and race and class and poor communities and disinvestment across our educational institutions, our higher education institutions, but also social services, which have been severely injured by this budget crisis. We thought we would come out and make our politicians aware that this is not cool and that we're going to hold them accountable. And that's really what this is. Northeastern Illinois University. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. This is decidedly a class attack, but it's also racialized, right? We got the Fight to 15 people out, right? Poor Black and Latino, right? And here in Chicago, right, we're seeing that kind of the cutting edge, I think, of what labor organizing needs to do.
Are you excited that you're uniting?
Yeah, I'm actually super excited. I was excited to be here, like when I was participating in some of the actions with the Chicago Teachers Union, with my union, an array of community groups, and we've been holding meetings, weekly meetings, and it was really exciting to get to see, just as weeks gone by, different groups jumping on in ways, and also shifting our narrative, kind of holding us accountable too for making sure we're having this inclusive argument and we're paying attention to people's lives and experiences, so that we're not just talking about like union organizing, although that's very, very important. We're also talking about jails and incarceration, and we're talking about like the key issues that affect the communities across Chicago.
This is the future.
This is. I really think these are new times. These are new times of people in power kind of like attacking working people, right? In very specific racialized ways, community-based ways. And this coalition, I'm very excited about it, right? That this is the future. If we're going to survive, it's the future.
Hug a professor.
It's hard being a professor these days at a public university.
It sure is, but we love it.
What does that mean?
Because the city, actually the government, they're starting to replace educators who view children as more than just a number with business people. All they see is dollar and cents. They don't care about educating young minds anymore, and this needs to change. I stand with the teachers for my children and for all of the children of America.
is that business and they affect the children?
Because they're over-testing the kids because they care about numbers. When children become numbers, that's when you have the over-testing, because all they see is the money coming in, and you're no longer caring about educating a young mind. It's just about the dollar and cents, the bottom line. Children are more than a bottom line. Hey, listen, the pipeline to prison is very real, and that's why I stand out here, because I do not want my son to become a part of that system, and we have to stand up for something today. Bless his heart. He's got to go. This governor has got to go. All of them. They need to change, because Chicago is tired. We are tired, and that's why everyone is out here today. I took off today to come stand with my son and his teachers to support everybody.
You feel the same way?
Yeah. I love school. I love gym. I love math sometimes. I like science. I like everything in school. Don't shut my door down.
Get 20,000. I see them get pills and pens. I see them get their husbands are saying, baby, you gotta go to bed. Wait a minute, I gotta grade some more paper. What are you telling me teachers can't teach? Even if you have the worst teacher in the world, they still teach. There's bad apples in every discipline. And you cannot tell me teachers don't teach. And I've been subbing for 22 years, and you don't tell me they can't teach. That's out of my mind. These people, some of the boyfriends leave them because they have to go back to school. They have to take their rest of their money. You telling me you treating us like dogs? Education, you can't move. But doctors, do they have to go and get recertified? Yeah, let us go get some more classes. Let's do workshops all day long. But you don't take our education. It costs too much. Teachers don't care. They don't care. How long can they not care? Doctors still get paid all the time. No insurance, but they can't come here. Teachers, 28 people in the classroom, 58 people in the classroom. We still say, everybody, take out your.
George Rangel. I'm from Dallas. I'm here to support the teachers in their effort to get decent funding for school education for the children and for the community that they serve. It's important that if we're going to be able to serve the community, it's important to have the funding necessary to be able to do it in a manner that is decent, not only for the employees, but for the community. It's very similar to what's happening here. We have fought for every penny that we have in order to be able to serve our children in the campuses. And if we don't serve and take a stand to serve our children, then who is? Our children matter, and it's very important that we take the stand to be able to do that.
Are they attacking unions in Texas?
Unions in Texas are a little bit different because we don't have the right to strike, unfortunately. So we're not as big a target as Chicago is.
There's a lot of billionaires in Texas.
That's a $1 million question. There are a lot of millionaires in Texas, and where is that? It's not in the public education. We have to fight for every penny that we get in public education and stretch every penny that we have.
What's happening with privatization of charters in Texas?
We have a booming charter programs that are spreading in Texas. But it's very important that they're not providing the service that public education does.
How are they different?
They're different because they're not regulated as public education is.
Is it double standard?
It's a double standard for public education and charter schools in Texas. It takes funding away from the public schools when you open a charter school and forward those funds to them. And then in the long run, we end up with that child anyways because the charter schools don't provide the service necessary.
So who benefits?
Charter schools, the big bucks, the guys, the millionaires, I guess, that are funding all of this. It's very an unfair system and unequal, and we have to stop it.
My name is Ruth, and charter schools affect us because they take away from public schools. They take away from my children. They take away from our programs like Teen Reach. They take away from special education in the public schools. That's how they affect us. Sometimes we don't even have enough books to buy because they cut the budget so much that we can't even afford enough the southwest side.
First.
12 seconds faster. Where are you going to school?
I go to school in Northeastern Illinois.
Sure. And what's happening here? Why are you here on this bus?
Well, the money's not there for the schools. Some schools are closing down. Chicago State's closing down. They don't have enough money to continue. We've got enough money to go through the fall, summer and fall semesters, but after that, you don't know if school's going to stay open. A lot of us, we need the state schools to be open, you know. We can't afford the private schools, you know. Me, I'm on the Illinois Veterans Grant. I can't go to a Chicago school, can't go to a private school. If there's no state schools open, I don't know how to pay the rent, you know. I depend on this money for school, and they really need to keep our education going on. The state of Illinois is going to be in big trouble if we don't have education. Education is what makes things better, you know. A town full of knuckleheads isn't going to do us any good. We need our education. It's very important to the students of the state.
So who's the governor represent? Why is he fighting
Rauner, I don't know. He's holding hostage on all the money, get what he wants. It's all politics. But he's affecting education. And not only the students, but it's the teachers and their families. They pay the mortgage with this money now. They got furlough days and all the administrators. It's really affecting everyone who works for the school system or attends.
So you think we'll have some success here?
I think so. I think there's going to be a lot of people down there. You really can't ignore it. When you got this many people saying, look, we need this. This is our jobs and our futures. Education is everything. And we've got a ton of people coming down today. I think it's going to make a big difference.
Let's hear it for John Miller! Okay. You notice the rain stopped. But the sun won't shine until we get funding for higher education and for K-12. We are all day long. There has been a sea of red and green, and not because it's Christmas. There has been a sea of red and green fighting for a basic principle. Today, all across the nation, and I'm so glad that there are AFT affiliates from New York, from Connecticut, from California, from Ohio, all here.
And all over the state of Illinois, working families all over the state of Illinois and in Chicago. We're all here in solidarity, we're all here in peace, and there's no violence, nothing but love and solidarity. Can you dig it? All of us have the same common enemy. Governor Rauner, Mayor Emanuel, the 1%ers in the world that want to take everything you've earned and have you working as a financial slave, working for nothing, unlivable wages. We have the same enemy, but we also have the same solution. By us joining together, galvanizing, fortifying our relationships, strangers have turned into friends under their attacks. Enemies have become allies under their attacks. As long as we stay together, support each other, we can overcome the oppression from the powers that be downstate and the powers that are here in Chicago. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Stay in solidarity.
Struggle, and it's a fight for basic fairness and justice. We are standing up to Governor Rauner's extreme agenda and demanding that the billion and the millionaires in our state pay their fair share in taxes, invest in our workers, our communities, and our public schools. It is well documented that the #1 driver of poor educational outcome It's income inequality and poverty. That's why we as nursing home workers, as well as all low-wage workers, see our fight for 15 and protecting value of public education as absolutely essential and connected. Nursing home, home care, child care, airport workers, and all working families will no longer, matter of fact, we're refusing to stand in the shadows of the wealthy and corporate interests like nursing home owners and Governor Rauner. The state is broke on purpose. Yes, it is. They don't want to pay fair and living wages to working people. Instead, they want to slash staffing, cut resources, take away our health insurance, our training for our child care and home care workers, and hurt our abilities to do our jobs. That's why we won't stop until we get 15. Today's rally gives us another lesson in how we can live our values and learn the power of unity. So again, I want to say thank you, CTU. Thank you, our dedicated teachers, and all the working people that are here today fighting for our future.
Okay. It won't be long, but I'm going to make it strong. Every last one of us, all the parents of Brownsville and myself stand for CTU. CTU knows what to do when it comes to educating our children. Our children deserve that. My grandchildren, along with thousands of other children, deserve better to be dumped in overcrowded schools. My grandchildren are forced to be in overcrowded school at Monmouth. They have to eat in the classroom. It ain't right. They've been forced to eat in the gym room. We don't have no library. We don't have no books. Every time we ask the board for something, they say no, no money. No money, they broke on purpose. Okay? They broke on purpose. This is the Chicago that Rahm Emanuel and Bruce Rauner want us to accept. They want us to accept scrap while they accommodate their rich babies.